Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
On Thursday, the 17th of April 2025, I am Peter Gomez, and live on West Coast Radio, it's coffee time. We're also on YouTube, courtesy of Jar Oil and Wave. We begin with crime and policing, because in today's digital age, misinformation and disinformation on social media have become critical challenges, especially for law enforcement. With the rise of artificial intelligence and platforms like ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini, it has become even easier for malicious users to craft and spread false narratives, create deepfakes, and produce misleading content on social media. Misinformation can fuel public hostility towards the police, heighten risks to officer safety, and disrupt overall police operations. Such distortions of fact can also undermine public trust in law enforcement. Now, in the past 24 hours alone, the Gambia Police Force has had to issue 2 statements denying claims of armed robbery at Westfield and the Sukuta Salaji getting out of hand, unquote. So what proactive strategies has the police adopted to address the menace of misinformation and disinformation online? The police PRO, Modu Musa Sisao, is online to speak to me shortly. Good morning, Police PRO. I think it's still ASP Sisao, is it?
Yes, please.
Very good.
Good morning, Peter.
I thought you would have been promoted by now.
Inshallah, very soon, hopefully.
Fantastic. Good work by the police. But before we get into our conversation, let me just read the 2 statements referenced before we continue. Police dismiss false claims of armed robbery at Westfield. The Gambia Police Force wishes to address and strongly clarify recent social media claims, particularly viral TikTok videos suggesting that an armed robbery occurred at Westfield on Tuesday, April the 15th, 2025, around 1700 hours. These claims are false and misleading. The other one says, the attention of the Gambia Police Force has been drawn to a video making rounds on social media labeled as live with captions suggesting that the Sukuta Salaji land dispute is out of hand. Following thorough verification, it has been confirmed that the video in question is old footage from a separate incident that occurred around the Tobaski period last year. The clip is being misrepresented to create a false impression of unrest. The Gambia Police Force hereby categorically refutes the claims in the circulating video and urges the public to disregard the misinformation. ASP Sisao, how has misinformation online made your work particularly difficult now?
Thank you very much, Peter, Uncle Peter, for that very wonderful question. Firstly, I would want to express appreciation for having me on the show this morning. Like you rightly mentioned in your introduction, misinformation really can affect our relationship with public. Firstly, we know it can undermine public trust and often can also lead to unnecessary panic or confusion, within the public. Of recent, we've seen so many activities going on, especially in the wake of the democratization process of the Gambia. We are in a growing democracy. We're not used to things like this. And fortunately or unfortunately, change is at a period where technology is very advanced, especially on the social media, and the agitation and the willingness and the presence of the youth on social media, cannot be overemphasized. So we thought it's very important that as a police force, we try to monitor every aspect of our society to be able to provide the service in terms of security and stability of this country. And of recent, we've seen so many activities on social media. This is why our social media presence is very high. We have special units, not just one unit on monitoring, because we have our intelligence. And we have our criminal intelligence too, and we have our cybercrime and forensic. All of these units are also present in the social media, where anything that can disrupt the peace and stability of this country is flagged, in a timely manner, and then we are able to respond.
Before we continue with some of the proactive strategies the police, is taking to counter misinformation online, would you like to see some of the freedoms enjoyed by Gambians curbed, especially freedom of speech, especially online? Would you like to see them curbed?
No. I think it's fine. What is important is for people to know their limitation and people to know the implication of whatever they are doing, because whatever you say or do has implications, and it has to go with responsibilities. This is why it's difficult to police the social media. We're not actually policing it per se, but because we have a responsibility, because this is a consumption, we are feeding the public certain information, and we understand that the mainstream media, even on social media, we are very happy with the way they handle things. They always would reach out to us to confirm stories before they go in publication. And this is what we expect from everybody. But again, like I said, it's social media. Anybody can be in his or her corner and come up with anything. Like you already mentioned in the introduction, we have all the AI tools now where, you can have voice changes, you can have videos that are created by AI, and you wouldn't even know who this person is. And people are using anonymous names to be able to share information that they may not want to associate themselves with, especially if their intention is Malaysia. So it is actually a difficult one. But yes, in general, since 2017, let's say 2016 to date, the new government has committed to democratic governance, meaning democratic policing in itself. We have all seen the revelations at TRRC, where the security sector or the security apparatus, namely the Gambia Police Force, has been used over the years, in terms of trying to trample upon the rights of individuals that they are expected to protect their rights. So right to freedom of expression, it's something that has been guaranteed. And the Gambia Police Force is doing everything possible to ensure that, within the law, people are able to express themselves in terms of writing, in terms of, protesting, demonstration and all that. And we have seen that happening. In the recent past, there has been a lot of protest or demonstration here. Even at instances where the police say it won't happen, people will insist that they're going to do it because they feel it is their right. And we don't agree with the way they do things sometimes, but again, if they do go out, we try to see how best we can be able to manage it before it gets out of hand. You can remember the UTG demonstration a few months ago, last year.
Yeah.
And we didn't give them permit to do it. They came to us, they applied, we asked them not to do it. But, the main union agreed with us, but we had a fraction of them who actually just went out and had to do it in their own way. But again, we were on the ground. We tried to manage it as much as possible so that at least, in as much as, yes, it's against the law at the time because they went against it, but we would also want to see how we can be able to contain it before it gets out of hand, and that we were able to do in time. And fortunately, up to date, the subsequent application, they were granted, the permit to do it, and they did it the way they wanted to do it in peace. And so in essence, we've seen that, and we've seen individuals also who coming out, trying to just speak their mind of anything and everything. All what we are saying is you have to be within the limits of the law, because where your right begins and ends, that's where somebody else's right begin and ends.
Absolutely.
So you cannot be going out in trying to express yourself. You're trying to vilify, you try to caricature, you try to misrepresent an individual or individuals or groups or organizations, and I think this is very important. And recently, I guess the concern that we have on social media is the fact that in our culture we talk about insults. in our culture sometimes it's difficult. It's really difficult to kind of police that per se. But recently we have also seen the National Assembly having to enact or accept the fact that there are certain insults that are directed to public officials, criminalized. And I think this is important for people to know. And I know for certain the CSOs and other stakeholders of development would also contribute towards ensuring that people are aware of these things. Because what happened is the sanity. Is the sanity around society. Because when people are allowed to just go about call people names, whether you consider it insult or not, and that is something that the person might not appreciate, and I think it's important we consider all of these things.
And apart from the insults, is there anything that has been said or shown online that has resulted in police officers maybe being physically attacked?
No, in terms of actually, no. In terms of what happened is where we see police officers actually being attacked is confrontation, or especially our traffic officers or officers going on conducting arrests. These are instances where we would see confrontations per se. But having online, online what we have seen, more or less good instances where police officers were exposed who were doing their job as expected. And that's what we expect. We expect that these are public servants when they are in the streets, when they are doing their job in public, they should, be in a way that is professional in terms of their interaction with people, the public, because they are providing service for the public. You remember the Tangier incident, where in a video going social media, seeing officers, more or less exchanging insults, and another one physically assaulting another person. So this is where called to the headquarters, and they were investigated and they were sanctioned. And these are the actions we are taking against them. We also seen instances where social media was able to expose more or less bribery, where a police officer, corruption, where a police officer was more or less requesting money or taking money from an individual. We invited them and we tried to understand the circumstance. So, and I think these are the important parts. This is what we're talking about, because we're talking of changes. And as a police force of recent, we are not here to defend. What I mean by defend is we try as much as possible in the process of reform and transformation. We recognize wherever we falter, we default, we made errors, we recognize it, and we acknowledge, and we take steps. And I know this will take time, but hopefully with the training that we are receiving, since 2016 to date, I think it's helpful. And in addition to that, we also have the human rights, a new unit called Human Rights and Professional Standard Unit, which is expected to investigate, and not only investigate, but to supervise officers while they are at their work, to ensure that they are doing their work diligently, professionally, and the way it is expected. But in instances where officers have issues, with the public has an opportunity, an office to go and report officers for misconduct or perceived misconduct, because it's a perception, then it will be investigated.
Fantastic.
And, so basically this is what is happening. But recently we have seen instances where information, unverified information, especially with respect to security concerns, are just sent out there, because we understand how that charging it could be, especially when it involves communities, when it involves respected individual, people in official capacity. When you don't verify those information and they have security implications. For example, we're talking about the Salaji incident. The Sukuta Salaji incident, which we are already aware. We are aware of the fact that government and partners or line ministries, with the community currently are going through a process where some land allocation issues are already ongoing, where demolition is taking place. So if that is already happening, we understand the situation, the environment, the charge in that community. So if you would come back, bring certain videos out there, because people don't have access to, people might not be in those locations at that point in time. But when people have their mobile phone, cell phone, everywhere they are, at work, at school, at the football field, and when they see some information like this, it can trigger something else, because
Absolutely.
A group of boys can just be sitting down and just saw the video, or one person would see the video and just show it to the other members, and the entire group would just get up and just go to attack. Before they know it, it's like, no, this is false information.
Absolutely.
And I think this is This is very important.
We agree with you, ASP Sisao Police PRO, and in other words, don't trust everything you see or read on social media.
At all, except if it is actual, because we know there are mainstream media in this country which are, at least trustworthy. We also have our official channel that you can always go back to check to confirm that this is actually coming from the police. And usually, of recent, we have seen that of recent, many things that we are doing as a police force, we will come out. Whatever is happening, whether they are criminal activity, crime committed or ongoing, we would report and inform the public this is what is happening, but we have taken this step, and please stay calm while we handle the situation. So we'll always come out, and I think that is important to note.
I agree with that. I agree with that. ASP, this is how we may have to invite you here, especially to just talk about the police force in general. Thank you very much for your time. We run on time, and our time is up as far as this interview is concerned. Thank you once again for your time.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
ASP Modu Musa Sisao, the Gambia Police Force Public Relations Officer. Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, brought to you in association with Wave and Jar Oil on YouTube.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.